As a brain doctor, I'm shocked. This vitamin may trigger Alzheimer fast. Are you ready to discover something that might completely change how you think about brain health and Alzheimer's disease? What if I told you that a vitamin you might be taking right now, thinking you're doing something good for your health, could actually be setting the stage for cognitive decline? As someone who's dedicated their life to understanding the brain, I was absolutely stunned when I uncovered this research. Stay with me until the end of this video, because I'm going to reveal which vitamin this is, why it's so dangerous, and most importantly, what you can do to protect yourself and your loved ones. The information I'm about to share could be the difference between maintaining a sharp mind well into your golden years or facing the devastating reality of memory loss. Don't click away, because this could be the most important 20 minutes you spend today for your brain's future. Have you ever wondered why Alzheimer's rates have skyrocketed in recent decades, while we've supposedly gotten better at understanding nutrition? It's a question that keeps me up at night, and the answer might surprise you more than you think. As a brain doctor who's spent countless hours studying the intricate connections between what we put in our bodies and how our minds function, I've stumbled upon research that frankly left me speechless. We're talking about a vitamin that millions of people take daily, believing they're protecting their health, when in reality they might be unknowingly accelerating their journey toward cognitive decline. Think about this for a moment. When was the last time you really questioned whether the supplements sitting in your medicine cabinet are actually helping or harming you? Most people assume that if something is labeled as a vitamin or supplement, it must be beneficial, right? But what if that assumption is not only wrong but potentially dangerous? What if the very thing you're counting on to keep you healthy is actually working against your brain in ways you never imagined possible? The human brain is an extraordinary organ, isn't it? It controls everything from your ability to remember your grandchildren's names to your capacity to solve complex problems. But here's what most people don't realize. Your brain is also incredibly vulnerable to certain nutritional imbalances. And when I say vulnerable, I mean that the wrong vitamin in the wrong amount can literally alter the structure and function of your neural pathways. Are you starting to see why this topic is so crucial for anyone who wants to maintain their mental sharpness as they age? Let me ask you something personal. Do you take vitamins regularly? If you're like most Americans over 50, the answer is probably yes. In fact, studies show that nearly 70% of people in your age group take at least one vitamin or supplement daily. But here's the shocking truth that the supplement industry doesn't want you to know. Not all vitamins are created equal, and some can actually become toxic when taken in excess. Are you confident that you know which ones pose risks to your cognitive health? Now, before I reveal which vitamin I'm talking about, I want you to understand something important about how Alzheimer's disease actually develops in the brain. Most people think it just happens overnight, like flipping a switch, but that's not how it works at all. Alzheimer's is actually a process that can begin decades before the first symptoms appear. Picture your brain as a bustling city with millions of interconnected highways. When certain toxic substances accumulate in this city, they start blocking the highways, causing traffic jams that eventually lead to complete gridlock. Does this help you understand why prevention is so much more important than treatment when it comes to cognitive decline? The vitamin I'm about to discuss works in a similar way. When you have too much of it circulating in your system, it begins to interfere with the delicate balance of nutrients your brain needs to function properly. It's like having too much of one ingredient in a recipe. Even if that ingredient is normally good for you, too much can ruin the entire dish. Have you ever considered that more isn't always better when it comes to nutrition? What makes this situation even more alarming is that many people are getting this vitamin from multiple sources without even realizing it. It's not just the pill you take in the morning. It's also hidden in fortified foods, other supplements, and even some medications. When you add all these sources together, you might be getting several times more than your body can safely process. Are you keeping track of all the different ways you might be consuming this vitamin? Let me share with you a case that really opened my eyes to this problem. I had a patient, let's call her Margaret, who was 72 years old and had always been incredibly health conscious. She exercised regularly, ate what she thought was a balanced diet, and took her vitamins religiously every morning. Margaret came to see me because she was experiencing what she called senior moments, forgetting names, misplacing keys, having trouble following conversations. Her family was worried, and frankly, so was she. Do you know anyone who's going through something similar? When I reviewed Margaret's medical history and did some specialized testing, I discovered something that shocked both of us. Her levels of this particular vitamin were nearly 3 times higher than they should have been. She had been unknowingly overdosing on it for years, and her brain was paying the price. The good news is that once we identified the problem and made the necessary adjustments, Margaret's cognitive function began to improve significantly. But it made me wonder, how many other people are out there right now, inadvertently damaging their brains because they don't know about this hidden danger? This brings me to a crucial point about how we approach brain health in our society. We've become so focused on finding quick fixes and magic bullets that we've forgotten about the fundamental principle of balance. Your brain doesn't need more of everything. It needs the right amount of the right things at the right time. When this delicate balance is disrupted, especially by excessive amounts of certain vitamins, the consequences can be far more serious than most people realize. Have you ever thought about whether you might be disrupting your brain's natural balance without knowing it? The research on this vitamin and its connection to Alzheimer's disease is both fascinating and terrifying. Scientists have discovered that when levels of this vitamin become too high, it triggers a cascade of events in the brain that promotes the formation of the plaques and tangles characteristic of Alzheimer's disease. It's like adding fuel to a fire that you didn't even know was burning. The scariest part is that this process can continue for years before you notice any symptoms. By the time you realize something is wrong, significant damage may have already occurred. Does this make you want to take a closer look at your own vitamin regimen? But here's what I find most frustrating about this entire situation. The information about these risks is available in scientific literature, but it's not reaching the people who need it most. Instead, we're bombarded with marketing messages about the benefits of taking more vitamins, more supplements, more of everything. It's as if the supplement industry has convinced us that if a little bit is good, then a lot must be better. Have you ever questioned why you rarely hear about the potential dangers of vitamin overdoses? Let me ask you something that might make you uncomfortable. When was the last time your doctor actually tested your vitamin levels before recommending supplements? Most healthcare providers, unfortunately, don't routinely check for vitamin toxicity unless there's a specific reason to suspect it. They're more likely to test for deficiencies than for excesses. This means that millions of people could be walking around with dangerously high levels of certain vitamins without having any idea. Are you one of them? The vitamin I'm referring to is one that most people associate with energy, nerve function, and overall well-being. In normal amounts, it's absolutely essential for good health. But when levels become excessive, it can actually interfere with the brain's ability to process other crucial nutrients, particularly those involved in memory formation and cognitive function. It's like having a bully in your brain that pushes around all the other nutrients, preventing them from doing their jobs effectively. Can you imagine how frustrating it would be to discover that your efforts to stay healthy were actually working against you? What makes this situation even more complex is that the symptoms of vitamin toxicity can be subtle and develop gradually. You might notice that you're more forgetful than usual, or that you have trouble concentrating, or that you feel mentally foggy more often. These symptoms are easy to dismiss as normal signs of aging, but they could actually be early warning signs that your brain is struggling to cope with toxic levels of this vitamin. Have you experienced any changes in your mental clarity that you've attributed to getting older? The connection between this vitamin and Alzheimer's disease involves several different mechanisms in the brain. First, excessive levels can lead to increased oxidative stress, which damages brain cells and accelerates the aging process. Second, It can interfere with the brain's ability to clear out toxic proteins that contribute to Alzheimer's pathology. Third, it can disrupt the delicate balance of neurotransmitters that are essential for memory and cognitive function. When you put all these factors together, you create the perfect storm for cognitive decline. Does this help you understand why vitamin balance is so crucial for brain health? Now, I don't want you to panic and throw away all your supplements. The goal here isn't to scare you away from taking care of your health. It's to help you make more informed decisions about what you put in your body. The key is understanding that optimal health comes from balance, not from maximizing any single nutrient. Your brain is like a sophisticated orchestra where every instrument needs to play its part at the right volume and at the right time. When one instrument is too loud, it drowns out all the others, and the beautiful music becomes noise. Are you ready to learn how to tune your nutritional orchestra? One of the most important things to understand about vitamin toxicity is that it's often preventable and reversible if caught early enough. Unlike some forms of brain damage, the cognitive effects of vitamin overdose can often be improved once levels are brought back into the normal range. However, the longer the toxicity continues, the more difficult it becomes to reverse the damage. This is why awareness and early detection are so critical. Have you ever had your vitamin levels checked as part of a comprehensive health assessment? The challenge is that many people don't realize they're at risk for vitamin overdose because they're not taking what they consider to be excessive amounts. But remember, this vitamin can accumulate in your system over time, especially if your body's ability to process and eliminate it becomes compromised as you age. Factors like kidney function, liver health, and even certain medications can affect how well your body handles vitamin metabolism. Are you aware of how your body's changing needs might affect your vitamin requirements as you get older? Let me share another story that illustrates just how common this problem might be. I recently attended a medical conference where a colleague presented data from a study involving over 500 people between the ages of 60 and 80. What they found was alarming. Nearly 30% of the participants had vitamin levels that were considered potentially toxic, and most of them had no idea. Even more concerning was that those with the highest levels were twice as likely to show early signs of cognitive decline compared to those with optimal levels. How confident are you that you're not part of that 30%? This research has profound implications for how we think about brain health and aging. It suggests that some of what we attribute to normal cognitive aging might actually be preventable vitamin toxicity. Imagine how different your golden years could be if you could maintain sharp mental function simply by optimizing your vitamin intake. The potential for preventing or delaying Alzheimer's disease through better nutritional balance is enormous, but it requires a fundamental shift in how we approach supplementation. Are you willing to reconsider your current approach to vitamins and supplements? The good news is that testing for vitamin toxicity is relatively simple and inexpensive. A basic blood test can reveal whether your levels are in the optimal range, too low, or dangerously high. If you discover that you do have elevated levels, working with a knowledgeable healthcare provider can help you develop a plan to safely reduce them while maintaining overall nutritional balance. The key is finding someone who understands the complexities of vitamin metabolism and brain health. Do you have a healthcare provider who takes a comprehensive approach to nutritional wellness? What's particularly troubling about this vitamin and its connection to Alzheimer's disease is that the damage can be cumulative. Each day that you maintain toxic levels, you're potentially adding to the burden on your brain. It's like making small deposits in a bank account, except in this case, you're depositing cellular damage instead of money. Over time, these deposits add up to significant cognitive impairment. The earlier you can identify and address this problem, the better your chances of preserving your mental function. When was the last time you seriously evaluated whether your supplement routine is helping or hurting your brain health? Another factor that makes this situation so concerning is that many people increase their vitamin intake as they age, thinking they need more nutrients to combat the effects of aging. While it's true that our nutritional needs can change as we get older, the solution isn't always to take more of everything. Sometimes what we really need is better absorption, improved balance, or even less of certain nutrients. The one-size-fits-all approach to supplementation simply doesn't work when it comes to brain health. Have you ever had your individual nutritional needs assessed based on your age, health status, and current supplement regimen? The supplement industry has done an excellent job of marketing the benefits of vitamins while downplaying the potential risks. You rarely see advertisements warning about the dangers of vitamin overdose or recommending that you get your levels tested before starting a new supplement. Instead, we're constantly bombarded with messages about how more vitamins will make us healthier, more energetic, and more mentally sharp. But what if the opposite is true? What if taking more of certain vitamins is actually making us sicker and contributing to the very problems we're trying to prevent? I want you to think about this from a different perspective for a moment. If someone told you that a medication you were taking every day might be increasing your risk of Alzheimer's disease, you would probably want to know everything about it, right? You would want to understand the mechanism, the risk factors, and what you could do to protect yourself. Well, vitamins are essentially chemical compounds that affect your body in specific ways, just like medications. The fact that they're available without a prescription doesn't make them harmless. Are you giving vitamins the same careful consideration that you would give to prescription medications? The relationship between this vitamin and Alzheimer's disease also highlights the importance of personalized medicine. What's safe and beneficial for one person might be harmful for another, depending on their genetics, health status, age, and other factors. Cookie-cutter approaches to health simply don't work when we're dealing with something as complex as brain function. Your brain is unique, and your nutritional needs are unique too. Have you ever considered that your vitamin requirements might be different from those of your friends, family members, or even the general recommendations you see in health magazines? One of the most eye-opening aspects of researching this topic has been learning about the international differences in vitamin recommendations and regulations. In some countries, the upper limits for this vitamin are much lower than what's commonly recommended in the United States. This suggests that there's still significant debate in the scientific community about what constitutes safe levels. When experts can't agree on something as basic as how much of a vitamin is safe to take, shouldn't that make us more cautious about our own consumption? How do you decide what's safe when even the experts disagree? The timing of vitamin intake can also play a crucial role in whether it helps or harms your brain. Some vitamins are better absorbed when taken with food, others on an empty stomach. Some should be taken in the morning, others at night. Some should be taken with certain other nutrients and avoided with others. The complexity of vitamin metabolism is staggering, yet most people approach supplementation as if all vitamins are the same. Have you ever paid attention to when and how you take your vitamins, or do you just swallow them all at once and hope for the best? Let me ask you something that might seem obvious but is actually quite profound. Why do you take vitamins in the first place? Is it because you've identified a specific deficiency? Because someone recommended them? Because you saw an advertisement? Because you think they'll prevent disease? The reason matters because it determines whether you're taking a targeted, evidence-based approach to supplementation or simply hoping that more is better. Understanding your motivation can help you make more rational decisions about what you actually need. What's driving your supplement choices? The financial implications of unnecessary or harmful supplementation are also worth considering. Americans spend billions of dollars each year on vitamins and supplements, much of it on products they don't need, or that might actually be harming their health. If you're taking multiple supplements without clear evidence that you need them, you're not only potentially risking your health, but also wasting money that could be better spent on other aspects of wellness, like better food, exercise programs, or preventive medical care. Have you ever calculated how much you spend on supplements each year and whether you're getting good value for your money? The psychological aspect of vitamin taking is fascinating too. Many people feel like they're being proactive about their health when they take supplements, even if those supplements aren't actually benefiting them. This sense of control and empowerment can be valuable, but it can also be dangerous if it leads to a false sense of security or prevents people from addressing real health issues. Taking the wrong vitamins or too many vitamins might make you feel like you're protecting yourself from Alzheimer's disease when you're actually increasing your risk. How confident are you that your vitamin routine is actually protecting your brain health? Education is really the key to solving this problem. The more people understand about vitamin metabolism, toxicity, and the specific risks associated with certain nutrients, the better equipped they'll be to make informed decisions about their health. Unfortunately, most people get their information about vitamins from sources that have a financial interest in selling supplements rather than from objective, science-based sources. This creates a situation where marketing messages often override medical evidence. Where do you get your information about vitamins and supplements, and how do you know if those sources are reliable? The good news is that awareness about vitamin toxicity and its connection to cognitive decline is growing within the medical community. More doctors are beginning to recognize the importance of testing vitamin levels and taking a more nuanced approach to supplementation. However, this knowledge hasn't yet reached mainstream awareness, which means many people are still operating under outdated assumptions about vitamin safety. Being ahead of the curve on this issue could literally save your brain. Are you ready to be part of the solution rather than part of the problem? If you've made it this far in this video, you're clearly someone who takes your brain health seriously, and that gives me hope. The fact that you're willing to spend 20 minutes learning about something that could potentially protect your cognitive function shows that you understand how precious your mental abilities are. But knowledge without action is just entertainment. The question now is, what are you going to do with this information? Will you continue taking vitamins blindly, or will you take a more scientific approach to protecting your brain? Here's what I want you to do if you're serious about protecting yourself from this hidden danger. First, make a complete list of every vitamin, supplement, and fortified food you consume regularly. Include everything, even things you don't think of as vitamins. Second, research each item to understand exactly how much of each nutrient you're getting. Third, compare your total intake to established safe upper limits. Fourth, consider getting blood tests to check your current vitamin levels. And fifth, work with a knowledgeable healthcare provider to optimize your nutritional balance based on your individual needs, rather than general recommendations. I know this might seem like a lot of work, but think about it this way. You probably spend more time researching a new car purchase than you do investigating what you put in your body every day. Your brain is infinitely more valuable and irreplaceable than any car you'll ever own. Doesn't it deserve at least as much careful consideration? The time you invest now in understanding your nutritional needs could pay dividends for decades to come in the form of preserved cognitive function and a lower risk of Alzheimer's disease. The future of brain health lies not in taking more supplements, but in taking smarter supplements. It's about precision rather than excess, balance rather than maximization, and evidence rather than marketing. The people who embrace this approach will be the ones who maintain sharp minds well into their 80s, 90s, and beyond. They'll be the ones who break the cycle of cognitive decline that seems inevitable to so many people. They'll be the ones who prove that Alzheimer's disease isn't just bad luck, but often the result of choices that can be changed. As we wrap up our time together today, I want you to remember that you have more control over your brain health than you might think. The choices you make about nutrition, exercise, sleep, stress management, and yes, vitamin supplementation, all play a role in determining whether you'll maintain cognitive function as you age or succumb to diseases like Alzheimer's. The information I've shared with you today is just one piece of the puzzle, but it's an important piece that too many people are missing. Your brain has served you faithfully for decades, helping you navigate life's challenges, create memories, and connect with the people you love. Now, it's your turn to serve your brain by giving it exactly what it needs to stay healthy and strong. That means being thoughtful about every substance you put in your body, including vitamins that you might have assumed were harmless. It means asking questions, doing research, and working with healthcare providers who understand the complexities of nutritional science. The choice is yours. You can continue taking vitamins the way you always have, hoping for the best and assuming that more is better. Or you can take a more scientific approach, one that recognizes both the benefits and the risks of supplementation, and seeks to optimize rather than maximize your nutrient intake. The people who choose the second path will be the ones who give themselves the best chance of maintaining cognitive function throughout their lives. If you found this information valuable, and you want to stay informed about the latest developments in brain health research, make sure to subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell. Share this video with friends and family members who might benefit from this knowledge, because the more people who understand these risks, the more we can collectively work to prevent unnecessary cases of cognitive decline. Leave a comment below, telling me what surprised you most about this information, or share your own experiences with vitamin supplementation. And if you stayed until the very end of this video, comment "Brain Health Matters," so I know you're serious about protecting your cognitive function. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if it opened your eyes to something new about vitamin safety and brain health. Your engagement helps ensure that this important information reaches as many people as possible.